The Vancouver Canucks will not renew their affiliation with the Chicago Wolves after this season concludes. Until then, the Wolves will continue to put a system of play on the ice designed as a collaboration between the Canucks and Scott Arniel's coaching staff. It is many things, this collaboration, but what is notable about it is what it is not.
Well, the team's progressed and taken steps in the right direction. Just from the start of the year, you don't know where you're getting with some of the new guys coming in, and we tried to, we've put a system in place that some guys have never ever played before. Probably almost all of them have never played. Something that came from Vancouver, and we tried to put it in here. And they've done a great job with it. We have everything. You have your growing pains, just like every team every year, but the guys have caught on quickly. There's some smart guys, and we've done a great job with that.
It is not employed by very many other teams in this league. Even with a mixed bag of results after more than 60 games, Arniel and his staff still believe it can work for a postseason run.
Well, you know what? It's always difficult when you're going to try something new because you're not quite sure if that's the direction to go. You're not quite sure if it's going to work. But Scott, he's been around coaching for a number of years now. Myself, have a little bit more experience than some other people in the league, and you have a young player that's just come out of the game like Nolan Baumgartner. Plus, we have a pretty good parent club that's had a real good defensive record over the last few years. And we kind of amalgamated a whole bunch of different things at our meetings this summer. And we came up with an idea and a plan that we wanted to present to our players and have them really work hard at trying to implement it. And so, we kind of believed in it before we presented it, because you can't sell something that you don't believe in. And I think we've done a pretty good job selling it to our players, and our players have bought in. And it's a rewarding feeling when you can see that. You can see the results of your labor, where the players are starting to get it. They're starting to work together. There's a yin and a yang with movement on the ice. There's a balance of coverage, and we're taking a lot away from the middle of the ice. We're moving a lot of the play to the outside. And the system allows for our sometimes smaller defensemen, smaller players, to be more successful. Whereas sometimes in the old systems where it was just a one-on-one battle in a defensive zone coverage situation, that smaller player was kind of left alone. Whereas, we've had to integrate new systems to allow for the opportunity for the smaller player, if there is one out there, or there are out there, and there are in our league, the chance to be successful as well. So it's benefited everybody.
The roster is buying, but there's an endless supply of new customers this year.
The biggest thing that happens is the evolution that starts in September to October and then obviously flows into March and April. You see teams, you'll see older veteran teams that get off to great starts and they kind of just plateau themselves all the way through the season. And then you see young teams that mature and they struggle early on, and then all of a sudden they start to find their identity later in the year and they start to realize what it takes to play, whatever it is, 76 games, what it takes to practice every day, look after yourself, eat, make your own meals, all those things. These kids start to turn into men, and That's all part of it, and it's funny because we've had guys, you could down our list, we have guys that have evolved this year. But like I said, right in the middle of it, we get guys dropped in here that are just starting again, where they didn't get the chance to start in September, October, they're starting in December or January, and or we got guys that are coming in this week that are trying to get into that mode too. So, but usually young players, if you have good young players, they start to figure it out. Like they start to really mature as they go forward. You look at an Archibald, he's really starting to really progress, as the season gone on. You get Davies, who's a young guy that's doing the same kind of thing. Anderson was evolving, really doing that. And then all of a sudden we had a catalyst dropped into our lineup in January, who's, at the time was, struggled, was trying to find his game, and now he's really starting to evolve into a player, So there's many guys, I'm sure I'm missing a few, that they need that time to mature. They need that time to figure out the league. They need that time to figure out their team and their coaches. And you'd like to do it all at one time, and by January it's all in place, but you're not always that lucky.
Arneal and his staff of merchants press on despite all the new faces.
When you come in as a coach, you have a style of play that you want to do, and I didn't come in here saying I was going to play the Vancouver Canucks style. I think there's a lot of things that when I was in Manitoba, when I had the association with Vancouver before, and Alain Vigneault, there's things that I liked that he took from me. There's things that he does that I took from him. And so coming back this year, a lot of the same things are still in place. I've coached this way. I've done a lot of these things in the past. There are some teams that don't do it, but there are a lot of teams that are similar to what we do. And every coach has his own little wrinkle to it. I think that that's been probably the hardest thing, is that with so many new faces, whether it's game to game, whether it's week to week, so many guys getting dropped in the lineup or getting called up, that you're forever, it seems like, trying to teach somebody how we play. Usually in February, March, your systems are intact, everybody knows how to play it, there's no issues, but with the changes that we've had from the 1st of January with the NHL starting, getting a whole new face look for a team, again, just having to continue to teach. We're still today, in a practice like today, where we're working on our D-zone coverage, teaching some guys for the very first time, refreshing some guys that had just maybe got put back in the lineup. So it's been something that normal situations you probably don't spend this long to get it as a group, and it's just been something that because of the numbers we've had to do it.